Well, hello, vinyl community. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing today? Just had a great opportunity here to fire off a video. I've acquired another good stack of records, and my wife's over in Vancouver with my daughter, so I can talk as loud as I want, and no one's wondering what the heck I'm doing in the basement. And can talk about some music for a few minutes with my friends in the VC. So, the good luck of the year continues. I got another good stack of records. I ordered a few things from Amazon, and the rest I picked up in my local record store. One kind of surprise, actually. I gotta stop saying Anyway, let's get started. So, yeah, the first thing I saw was this box set that was featured on the display wall about a week ago, 10 days ago, and I looked through it, I picked it up, I did want to get it. I didn't know if I wanted to spend that money that day, and I did manage to get back down there, and lo and behold, it was still available. So that was good. So this is the Eric Clapton Crossroads box set. I know that Jeff Kaplan just featured this, and I wanted to get it. I remember this when it came out, 1988. This was the first box set I think I remember of my time. I know there was been box sets before, but this was kind of the rebirth of the box set, if I'm not mistaken. And this was a big seller. Everybody had this. Everybody talked about it. It comes with a great book. The book's in A1 shape. No bent corners or anything. I like this. This is kind of cool. All the Clapton album covers in one. From Cream to Blind Faith to Derek and the Dominoes, Delaney and Bonnie, and of course his solo work. So this takes you through, if you go on the back, there's the track list. So we start with the Yardbirds, of course, John Mayall's Blues Breakers, Cream, Blind Faith, Delaney and Bonnie, Derek and the Dominoes, and of course the solo career up to 88, I think this came out. So you don't get any of the Unplugged album, which was about 92, I believe. You know, this is a great set. The sound's really good. I was actually impressed with the sound. It comes on 5 records, 5 vinyls. They are on Polydor. Kind of a personalized Polydor label. You can see the Polydor symbol at the top there. Not a mark on any of these, so that's fantastic. I actually got it for a good price. I got 10 bucks off, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I've only listened to 2 records. I kind of dived into the middle somewhere, sort of after Cream, and then early solo is what I've listened to so far. Sounds really good. There was a song I was just listening to the other night with... who did he do it with? Peter Tosh, like when he was in his reggae phase, which sounded really good. So yeah, the Eric Clapton Crossroads box set on vinyl. Very good indeed, and in nice shape. Box is in good condition, and it's something I will enjoy listening to. I like Eric Clapton. I mean, he doesn't get a ton of love, and yet I think he's just one of the, you know, obviously the time alone from Cream, or from the Yardbirds, pardon me, right through his whole career. I know he's being knocked around a bit, but I do have a soft spot for Clapton, and I like some of his work. And that Clapton documentary, My Life in 6 Bars, I think it's called, is a fantastic music documentary. If you haven't seen that yet, even if you're not a fan, I highly recommend watching it. So another one that Jeff Kaplan was showing the other day was the Pulse box set, which I saw and I went, I want to get that. And then I went to look for it, and it started to become a little harder to find. So I think these are going fast. None of my local music stores. I finally found it on Amazon, and it's a decent price on Amazon. And I think it says 6 left on the Amazon site. So this is the 4-album live concert, basically the Division Bell tour, 94, 95. This was recorded on the European leg of the 95 tour. And so this is, of course, minus Roger Waters. They bounced back. Momentary Lapse of Reason was, you know, maybe a 7 out of 10 album, where I think Division Bell was more like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 album. It was a stronger album for sure. I went to this tour when it hit Vancouver. Actually, I was just looking through my little concert ticket book that I did some years ago. And there we have right there, Pink Floyd, June 25th, 1994, in BC Place Stadium in Vancouver, with The Who and the Rolling Stones below that. Yeah, I was just reminiscing, having a look at this. There's my U2 page. It's not all the U2s, but that's the Zoo tour. Actually at Earl's Court when I was living in London at the time. And then below that we have 2 shows in Vancouver. We have I saw Zoo TV again in Vancouver. And then we also have the Vertigo tour right below it. So that was in Tuesday, April 2005. And I showed you the Pink Floyd, The Who, the Stones. My wife and I went, I took my wife to see Madonna at Madison Square Garden for her birthday one time. And then this is Net Aid. So we've all heard about Live Aid. Well, some years later, they did another benefit in London at the old Wembley called Net Aid. And it also simulcast in, I think it was Philadelphia also. And I went to the London show. And this was amazing. This was David Bowie, George Michael, Bryan Adams, Bush. Who else was at that? You know, I've still got the tour book somewhere. I'll have to dig it out and look. Oh, Robbie Williams, who I'd never heard of at the time, who was just actually phenomenal. And yeah, there's some other classics there I'm forgetting, but yeah, it was the same sort of idea as Live Aid. It was all day long in Wembley Stadium. And it was an amazing experience to go to. The Stereophonics played. Who else? I'll have to look that up. Anyway, that was a great day. Totally remember that. Net Aid. Then we got some Radiohead, REM, another Radiohead. We got Bob Dylan, Van Morrison, another Dylan. Tears for Fears, that must be one of my first ones, which is amazing that I have the stub. That was in '85. That was the songs from The Big Chair. We got The Cult and Lenny Kravitz. We got Sinead O'Connor. We got In Excess. That was the Kick tour. I remember that. I remember I broke the chair I was standing on. Chris Isaak. That was one of my wife and I's first dates. That was right when I came back from the UK. That was '93. And I remember she got pulled up on stage to dance with Chris Isaak at the end. Some big date, huh? Lenny Kravitz with Blind Melon. This was the concert that... what was the lead singer from Blind Melon? This is when he peed on the audience in Vancouver and got arrested. And then he went off the rails and then died not long after that. That was a very famous show. A couple of Depeche Mode shows, 3 different shows. One's the Violator tour, was the first time I saw them in 1991 or something like that. We got Robert Plant, Dire Straits, Neil Young with Pearl Jam. That's an amazing show. What's this one? Paul Simon, David Bowie. We got Sting and the Police a couple of times. Oasis. Not only Oasis, but it's row 1. Like Liam was right in front of me. Whoops. Coldplay. The Tragically Hip, if you're Canadian, 1992. The Tragically Hip in 92. That's an early show. The Bare Naked Ladies in 93. The Grapes of Wrath, that's another Canadian band. And Cheap Trick. It's unfortunate I didn't keep everything, but I have quite a few. I know I'm missing a couple of U2s. I'm missing the first time I saw U2. I think my girlfriend at the time ended up with those ticket stubs. Stein Valley Festival. This was a music festival over probably 2-3 days to raise money for the Stein Valley, which is one of the oldest forests in the world, and they were going to log it. This is very controversial in British Columbia back in the 90s. And this was held at over in Tsawwassen, which is just outside of Vancouver, on the First Nations land, because I remember there was controversy even about where to hold it because there was going to be giant protests. And I remember Gordon Lightfoot was the headliner, and I'd heard of Gordon Lightfoot. I knew the odd song, but I wasn't really interested in that type of music at that time. And I remember he was the headliner on the last night, and it was just this moment where he was totally on form, and just him and an acoustic guitar in a field at the sunset playing all his hits. I went out and bought his whole discography the next day. It was just amazing. And then this is another roadside attraction. This was the Tragically Hip and Midnight Oil in Victoria with World Party. That was a great show. And then this is the Canada Day party. It was a July 1st Canada Day show at UBC. And if I remember correctly, this was the Bare Naked Ladies, and the headliner was the Violent Femmes. So it was very cool to see the Violent Femmes. This is a couple with my daughter, no doubt. I'm not even going to tell you what the other one was. We got Rush, Fleetwood Mac, Macca, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen. Took my dad to that for, I think, his 60th birthday. And I remember it went on forever. My dad and I were looking at each other going, when is this show going to end? Like, Springsteen just plays forever. Another Coldplay, another U2, Roger Waters, and it came with this cool kind of collector's ticket. That was the Wall Live. A couple of smaller ones, the Kaiser Chiefs and Crowded House. Another Fleetwood Mac. And then I had a whole bunch that I haven't even... Because you don't get tickets anymore, right? You print them off. I hate that. I think you should be able to print a ticket so you can souvenir it, right? I'm going to have to cut these up. But there was more in here that were cool. Some later day ones that I've done. Liam Gallagher from Oasis, his solo show. Roger Waters, the Us and Them tour. Another Oasis show. Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden. My wife and I went to that. That was amazing. Another U2 at the Forum in LA. That was cool to get to the Forum. A comedy one, Ricky Gervais. My best friend and I went to that last year. And Arcade Fire. The new Canadian powerhouse. What else? Yeah, I guess that's about it. Oh, there's one more here. What's this? Oh, another comedy one. This is Russell Peters down in LA. Canadian comedian. Pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I got off on that, but yeah. Pink Floyd Pulse. Okay, here's Bob Dylan. The Times They Are Changin'. This was his third album. This was his first album of all original songs, although he did get a little criticism that some of the themes of some of the music was based on traditional Irish folk songs. He played everything on this. This is a mono original in beautiful shape on the Columbia 2i. I had an early Columbia pressing, but this is much nicer and it's a mono. So I'm gonna trade out that one. And just like beautiful shape. Yeah. The Times They Are Changing. It's funny, you know, he wrote that, and I think John F. Kennedy was assassinated about 3 weeks later. So there you go. We talked a little bit about U2. This is a new purchase. This is U2 Pop, which was, at the time, I remember I wasn't a huge fan. I really got this to be a completist, although Staring at the Sun is a fantastic song, and with all the U2 reissues, this is a beautiful gatefold. There's Bono, Larry Mullen, and this comes in, you get a lyric sheet. So yeah, discotheque was kind of different, them playing with techno. Staring at the Sun, I remember, was one of my favorite songs. If God Sends Those Angels, Last Night on Earth, even Do You Feel Loved. I mean, it's not a bad album, but it's certainly at the latter end of their discography as far as, you know, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I do want to show you that it comes with these nice inner sleeves. There's Adam Clayton. And then they packaged the vinyl in the plastic seal. Yeah, U2 Pop. Something I was missing and wanted to get a hold of. Complete the discography. This is one that I've seen a lot of people talk about. And I mean, I know Steve Miller from the you know, the Joker and, you know, Abracadabra and all the songs, but this is the first album by the Steve Miller Band. Very psychedelic. This is Steve Miller, and Boss Aggs is in the band. This is on the early Orange Capital. I knew nothing about this album other than hearing people on the VC speak highly of it. This is a really nice early 70s reissue, I think 71 or 72. I think the original came out in 68. This is in really good shape. And I've played it once, and it's awesome. I really, really like it. And Baby's Calling Me Home by Boss Skaggs is a really good song. And I love the musical song, the sound of the music through most of side one. It's really, really good. All right, Steve Miller Band. We got a little LA Woman. I've been on the fence trying to find a nice copy of LA Woman for a couple of years now, and they're always trashed. But I bought this one, even though the cover is not in great shape. The vinyl is absolutely pristine. It's brand new almost. On the Electra Butterfly. This was the Doors' last album. What was this, 71? This, of course, had the song LA Woman, Love Her Madly, and one of my favorites, Riders on the Storm. But a lot of other good stuff. Like, this plays really well. I really like the sound of They Were In. It's quite psychedelic. And this was a good album. It's a pity, of course, that it all went sideways after that one. Norah Jones. A lot of people say this is one of the best sounding albums that's been put out. This is on Blue Note. Although it's not doesn't say Blue Note on the label, it does on the sleeve. This was a 90s repress. Norah Jones, of course, sort of jazz voice, and really, I mean, just a nice background music. Yeah, very enjoyable album, and it does sound really well. So yeah, Norah Jones. This is a good pickup. This is Steely Dan Gaucho. This is a MCA Records audiophile pressing, so this is really great sounding. This came out in 1980, and not critically one of their better albums. You know, some people write, that's just the original inner. Some people love it, and some people hate it. Hey 19 is probably the most famous song. It does sound a little, you know, elevator jazzy in some spots. And, but, you know, sonically, this sounds amazing. And, you know, it's definitely an enjoyable listen, and I am a Steely Dan fan, so it's very good. So there you go. Steely Dan. Gaucho. This is another new buy. This is Neutral Milk Hotel. This is In the Airplane Over the Sea, which was their second and last album. And this came out in '88. I had a couple of notes here. Yeah, here's a trivia question. What was the sixth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 best-selling album of 1988? Any guesses? Any guesses? Anyone? Anyone? Well, you're right. Who would have thunked it? I never would have guessed that. That would have been completely out of left field if someone had told me that. Yeah, the sixth best-selling album of 1988. Unbelievable. Yeah, their second album. This was... The lyrics are all based on the life of Anne Frank. Jeff Mangum. Jeff Mangum. He is considered to be one of the best lyricalists. They put him up at Dylan kind of levels. And this album plays very Dylan, Sgt. Peppery kind of like. It's definitely in that period. It's a great listen. It's a great album. This is something I've been wanting to find. I have the first album. The name escapes me right now. But yeah, you know, it's too bad. I guess he suffered from a bit of stage fright. You know, at the time of when this came out, REM wanted to tour with them, and he said no. And that was the end of the band, more or less. So, yeah, Neutral Milk Hotel. And then Bobby Gass, are you with me today, buddy? Look what I found. The Churchills. This was so bizarre. I've been looking at ordering this online, and then I saw Bobby's contest, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to win that contest. Cheers. And I was in my local store, and they do have a psych area, and I was flipping through the psych, and they have some by band, and then they have just generic the B's, the C's, the D's of the bands that don't quite have a big discography. So, and a lot of times I'll skip through those. I don't know why. You just go to the one that you're looking for. So anyway, last Sunday, I'm down there, and I'm flicking. I should look at the C's. Boom, 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 boom. Bam. It was in my local record store the whole time. I was talking to the owner, and apparently this has been in there since it was released, which was 2010. 9 years. I've been looking online. Okay, but here's the catch. I got home. I was all excited to add it to my Discogs. And bam! This cannot be added to your Discogs. It's a bootleg. I got the bootleg, Bobby. I got the bootleg. Yeah. So apparently, this isn't an original, or not an original, but an original repress. This is a bootleg from the UK. So I haven't been back down to my local store yet to find out how the hell that works out. Comes with a little insert. Now it sounds fine. Sounds really good, actually. A little info on the Churchills. There's a photo, because apparently there's not many photos of those guys, but there's a photo. There's a little write-up on them. There they are performing. Yeah. So there you go, Bobby Gass. I got the frickin' bootleg. So I'm gonna still have to go in your contest, because I want an official release. Anyway, if you don't know about the Churchills, this is psych rock from Israel, and this is a fantastic album. Lots of people talking about this on the VC. It's got this beat that just starts off, and away you go. And I am still super happy that I found it. I can't believe that it was sitting in my record store for all that time and no one's bought it. And there you go. So yeah, that's the new vinyl finds with a little bit of old concert tickets. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I hadn't looked at those for ages, so sometimes it's nice to look through and remember what you had gone to and where you were in that stage of your life. I know Boston Rob shows a lot of that kind of stuff, and I enjoy seeing it. So anyway, peace out, everybody. Have a great weekend.